Hello all you wonderful people unfortunate enough to have stumbled upon this video. Now you will spend the next few minutes learning about some physiology. Specifically, the physiology of the human body during a long 10km run. But first, we need a test subject. So, meet Robert. He was rescued from a Zimbabwean cobalt mine, where he was forced to generate energy by running on a treadmill 24/7. Now don't let his lanky body structure fool you. His organs fit perfectly in his body, and he is a very good runner. Running and Robert goes together like butter and toast, like Bonnie and Clyde, like Subway and Jack. Never mind. Nevertheless, he will prove a fine guinea pig for our presentation. In this video, we shall focus on the effects of Robert running 10 kilometers in conjunction with the following physiological factors: his cardiovascular, respiratory, and endocrine systems. We won't cover the autonomic nervous system fully because it is intertwined with every other system we will discuss, as you will soon see. So, let's get started, shall we? Oh, who could that be?
Surprise, motherfucker!
Oh, of course, silly me. How could I forget? It's muscles! How am I supposed to talk about running without mentioning how Robert's muscles work? Remember that the muscular system comprises of smooth, skeletal, and cardiac muscle. We only have time to cover skeletal muscle, but that's the most important one anyways. Skeletal muscle is responsible for voluntary movement, and its contractions fall upon the role of motor units. Remember that a motor unit is an alpha motor neuron and all of its muscle fibers it innervates. The muscle fibers can be characterized by slow and fast twitch fibers. Slow twitch fibers are recruited early on for low to medium intensity activities with long durations. On the other hand, fast twitch fibers are recruited for high intensity activities with short durations. Slow twitch fibers have slow contraction velocity, long twitch duration, slow myosin ATPase activity, a rich capillary supply, high oxidative capacity, low glycolytic capacity, and high myoglobin concentration. These characteristics help make slow twitch fibers fatigue resistant. Since Robert's running 10 kilometers, we'll assume he runs at a steady and slow pace, and thus will primarily rely on his slow twitch muscle fibers. If Robert was participating in a high intensity activity, for example, sprinting away from the cartel after a drug deal gone wrong, then his body would rely more on his fast twitch muscle fibers. Moving on now. You may notice when you exercise, if you exercise, your body experiences some physical changes. Your heart beats more, your breathing is heavier, stuff like that. For a specimen like Robert, he knows them all too well. Now, let's focus on his cardiovascular system. It's made up of the heart, blood, and blood vessels. When Robert runs, his sympathetic nervous system, also known as the fight or flight system, raises his heart, blood pressure, and redirects blood. His heart rate, the number of heartbeats per minute, and stroke volume, the amount of blood pumped per beat, both increase due to the body's elevated energy demands. The cardiac output is the total volume of blood pumped out for the left ventricle per minute. Since it equals the product of the heart rate and stroke volume, it also increases. Blood flow patterns also change during exercise. When Robert runs, the increase in cardiac output means more blood is sent to his active skeletal muscle and skin as body temperature rises. This also results in a redistribution of blood away from areas of low oxygen demand, such as the digestive organs. Now let's talk about Robert's blood pressure. Remember that the arterial blood pressure is equal to the product of cardiac output and peripheral resistance. Even though peripheral resistance decreases during exercise, it is offset by the massive increase in cardiac output. Thus, Robert's arterial blood pressure increases. This is a desired outcome, as vasoconstriction causes blood to flow out to areas of high oxygen demand, like active skeletal muscles. It is important to note that it's mostly Robert's systolic pressure increasing here, as diastolic pressure mostly remains at near resting levels. Moving on, we'll be talking about the respiratory system. This is an image of Robert's lungs. Luckily, they're in tip-top shape. So what happens to them when he runs? For the less intellectually inclined viewers viewing, you may not know that we need more oxygen when exercising. The sympathetic nervous system comes in again to help Robert's body get more oxygen by increasing pulmonary ventilation. He achieves these by two methods. First, he increases his tidal volume, i.e. the amount of air he exhales and inhales with each breath. Secondly, his breathing or respiration rate goes up, i.e. the amount of times he inhales and exhales per minute. During prolonged exercise, like in Robert's case, concentration of CO2 and H+ ions increase, causing pulmonary ventilation to rise further. Since Robert isn't running at an extremely fast pace, it is unlikely he will reach his VO2 max. Finally, we get to talk about Robot's hormones. The sympathetic nervous system causes the endocrine system to release and suppress numerous hormones in his body during the run. Glucagon production is activated to convert liver glycogen stores into glucose through glycogenolysis. This glucose is vital for providing the energy to Robert's active skeletal muscles. Insulin production is suppressed as it stimulates the conversion of glucose into glycogen. Adrenaline and cortisol levels also increase. This increases cardiac output, liver and skeletal muscle glycogenolysis and lipolysis. Over the course of his run, Robert will lose precious water and sodium through sweating, so his vasopressin levels will increase to retain water, and his renin-angiotensin and aldosterone levels will increase to retain sodium. Both of these factors serve to maintain his plasma volume. Well folks, that's it. Robert has finished running his 10 kilometers, but he's not finished. Oh no, not by a long shot. Some say he will keep running until the last stars in the universe burn out, becoming the last living being in the cold, lonely and desolate wasteland. Well, that's the video everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.